Full committee hearing, reforming defense acquisition to deliver capability. Oh, can I change my title midstream? Oh, okay. Armed Forces Committee. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now we'll go back here. Go turn off the streaming I'm using the video. This is fun. Pete Woohoo. Well, credit cards. Hmm. I got a good night's sleep last night. I went over and hung out with some friends that casual friends. It's one of those things about friends. Like how long? Just because we get along, and I've only known them for a short time, but they're the most friendly people I have where I live. I was watching what Sasha, is it Sasha Grey or something on Twitch this morning, walking around Greece. Oh boy, the identity Olympics. Welcome back to your roots. I'm so glad to find out that your weakness. And there's a fight in the background. Some like some Greek American like thing where guy had a little it's not kippa on in his big family walking around arguing about the genocide or Holocaust. It's great. So I stopped last night reading. I stopped at well they had the boils. I was looking at the plagues of Egypt and like they want to go off and do sacrifices to their Lord. And then Moses and the Lord speaking through Moses and Aaron were casting up plagues on the Egyptians. Mm. Just a little background on me. I'm a veteran. I enlisted after high school. I graduated high school in 1994. Turned 19 that summer, and Then I was off to the Navy. Been a long time. We have a thing out here where all of so many pretty young men, so many pretty young men up here now. I have new neighbors, and I was looking at a pretty young men, like flirting with the neighbor's wife. We're trying to. I don't know. I wasn't reading too much of the body language.
Committee will come to order. The United States faces the most dangerous security environment since World War II. China is rapidly expanding its military power. It can field advanced systems in a matter of months. By contrast, in the United States, it takes more than a decade to deliver
So how much
needed
you paying
capability
people
to
to
our
fight China?
warfighters. By that time, the threat has changed, the cost has ballooned, and the solution is outdated. The reality is that our defense acquisition system is failing the American warfighter. That's not just my view. Nearly every combatant commander who's testified before this committee this year said the same. Moreover, defense companies of all sizes tell us they face a maze of
We're gonna
red
go work
tape,
people who sell us
bureaucratic
equipment.
delays, and a
We're
risk-averse
gonna go
culture
work
at
for
the
people who
department
sell us
that
equipment.
deters innovation. This helps explain why the number of prime contractors in our country has dropped from 51 to now 6.
Oh.
Meanwhile, excessive regulations and fears of losing privately funded IP are driving away commercial firms and startups and making VCs think twice about investing in defense tech. And for those that do press ahead, too often the game-changing technologies lane.
Oh, one of these dudes. One of these dudes. Little queef. Is that a toupee? I think it's glued on his head. I think it's a freaking like some other space alien. I think one of those things is Star Trek. Little friggin' little Furby thing, or little fur, it's like glued on his head. We need to invest. And by investing, we need to give money to those people who like are going to invent the future and down the contract the city and the hotel, and you make sure to pay their full bit there, and we have a cost overrun at the bar, but that's okay. The rental car, we can write that off that was smashed. We need to invest more. We need to invest more in in building in things because the health of our kids, they're all fucking gay and shit and weak. They're kind of like me. Kind of like me and the dandy. We can't have these. We can't have these kids growing up. Oh my god, what are we talking about? Give me money. Give my friends money. My friends need money. He just got assaulted. There was an anti-Semitic attack in Canasta 3 this morning. We have the video. There was an anti-Semitism happened to my brother in Canasta 3. It was on Twitch. I mean, it was on. We got it. We're working a land real estate deal. I'm working a real estate deal here, man.
Outdated and overly burdensome regulations that slow delivery and inflate costs. It promotes a data as a service model that gives the department access to the technical data it needs to sustain its systems while preserving the intellectual capital of the American industry. It creates the Defense Industrial Resilience Consortium, bringing industry to the table to address challenges from supply chain fragility to restoring surge capacity.
What's the
And
state
most
of life?
importantly, it drives much needed cultural change. No more rewarding
Yes.
paper pushers or
Cultural
problem
change.
solvers. The SPEED Act
Like
fosters a
monogamy.
culture of
Like a
agility
good Christian
and
country
responsible
practice.
risk-taking, where failing fast
Like
and
no
learning
sex
quickly is
before
seen as
marriage.
progress, not as a career coup.
Cultural change.
Let's be honest, past reforms have failed. However, I believe this time is different. The White House, the Pentagon, Congress, and industry are all demanding change. I commend President Trump for calling on the department to urgently modernize defense acquisition and streamline overly burdensome regulations. Mr. Duffy, we want to hear from you on how the department is acting on that directive to deliver to the warfighter. And I look forward to discussing how we can
Picture
align
somewhere I
efforts
took
to fix the defense
of a
acquisition system
receipt
and ensure
10 years
the
ago
U.S. Armed
where I
Forces
got back
are the
Thomas
world's
Duffy.
most lethal
It was like
fighting
Duffy on
force
the credit
are
card on my
made
receipt. Like
that
that's
way. And with that, I
he's
yield my
he's my
ranking
card.
member for any opening
It's a
comment he may
Duffy
have.
on it.
Thank you,
Duffy.
Mr. Chairman, and thanks more than anything for your leadership on this issue. Acquisition reform is something we've been working on for a while. I think we've made a little bit of progress. Some of the past reforms have helped. They simply haven't gone far enough. Chairman Thornberry, I think, really showed some great leadership on this. Secretary Ash Carter, when he was there, began to move us in this direction. We've done some other transactional authority. We've learned some valuable lessons from programs that have, struggled, like the F-35, so that the B-21, other programs, we moved in a different, better, more positive direction. But on a scale of 1 to 10, we've got about a 2 in terms of how far we've gone. And the acquisition reform bill that you've led on gets us much closer to that 10 we need to get to, and it is crucial that we push it all the way through the process for all the reasons that you stated. Innovation is happening faster now than it ever has in the national security world. The Pentagon, Congress, or defense industrial base are not where they need to be to innovate
Mr.
as
Smith,
quickly
any
as they need
relations
to.
with Joseph
We
Smith?
need to realign the incentives, as you said, and we
Had a
need to fundamentally
conversation today
change
about
the
the
culture. And I've
Church
said
Larry
this
things
probably
and
100
whatever they
times
go
in this
by now.
committee now.
Well,
The
anyway,
best
there's
summary of it
confusion
I've ever
between
read
like
was
Joseph
in a
Smith
Foreign
Jr.
Affairs article a
prophet
couple
and
years ago
Joseph
where they
Smith
said the Pentagon
Sr.
was
the
built to be the
powerful senator.
1950s Ford Motor Company. It needs to be 2022 Apple. It needs to be an innovative company, and all the cultural pieces that get us there to make that happen are going to be necessary. And it's all sort of three pieces of this. The Pentagon needs to change, Congress needs to change, and the defense contractor base needs to change. Because there are incentives in place for all three of us to just keep the system where it's at.
Remember the
Process,
people
if you
change?
work at the Pentagon, if you follow the process, you just sort of slowly
Like, should we have a
stair-step your way out.
discussion about
And
would we
if
need
there's 15
Washington?
people who have been in charge of the
Washington would
program
seem to
when
be
it
a big
fails,
fucking
it's very easy to
sinkhole.
go,
Huge friggin' giant sinkhole of
those
sewage
incentives
pit
are in
on the
place.
East
Congress,
Coast.
we get parochial, we protect our districts, we pound on, bureaucrats when they make mistakes. Meanwhile, we tie their hands so that they can't do it right. So we have to change as well. The defense contractor base, if they get these contracts that just lock
Remember,
them
every
in,
single one of these
to be
people went
paid
against
over
the
and over and
sovereign.
over again, whether or not they produce a product we need, that works for
Are
them
you
too.
trying to keep the
All
same
of those
sovereign's family
incentives
to the
need to be
sovereign?
changed, and the culture needs to change. We've talked
That's
about
what I'm
this
really
a
curious
lot.
about.
I won't go on length about that. Just want to close by saying the one big problem here is DOD and Congress is going to have to work together to get this done. You're not going to be able to do it your own way. And this administration, this DOD has shut out Congress.
I wonder if they've been, I
any
wonder if they
other
inspect
DOD
any of the
administration I've ever
plants.
dealt with.
How many
It's
employees are
stunning.
left?
I have not personally had a one-on-one
Yeah, DOD and
conversation
them
with
have
the
to go
Secretary
like
of
invent
Defense.
the shit.
I've sought out
Are you gonna
meetings
go
with the
invent it?
Undersecretary
You're gonna
for
go work and
Policy.
start creating
I've
the
basically
tools
been told to
tomorrow?
piss off. Okay, that's just not going to happen, which is unbelievable to me. It is not just us. I mean, I understand that to a certain degree this administration wants Democrats to go away. That sort of partisanship isn't that
Remember
unusual.
Danny
But
Haster?
even the majority,
Well, even adult men don't like being
information.
kissed.
We have still not
If
been
you get your
told
fucking
what
teeth
weapons
knocked
are
out,
being
you're trying to
shipped
kiss
Ukraine
them,
by
man.
this administration,
Call
what
the
their plans
po-po.
are. And again, we've been told
We don't like your
that
kind
would be
down
our
here.
business. Okay, we cannot get meetings. We cannot have these consistent conversations, and
Yeah,
that's
this is a
going to
vibe.
be a
This
problem
is the vibe
with
control.
getting to the acquisition reform that we need.
They come
So
from a,
I
from
hope
but
that
lightning
it
low.
improves.
If we were just
Now,
more sexual
don't
with
have
each
to
other,
just
we
do
have
what
world
we tell
peace.
you or whatever.
The way the world
Basic
peace is to make
communication
love,
has to
not
happen,
war.
and it is
We need to share our
not
body.
happening on an
We need
unprecedented
to share our wealth.
between Department of Defense and the House Armed Services Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee. That needs to change. And with that, I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I'm a Harvard man. I don't know anything about Yale.
This has been disappointing.
You're
but I'm
mistaking me for my
optimistic,
uncle.
that we're
My
gonna do
uncle
better
seems to enjoy
after
rolling
we're
around
here
coffins
with,
naked with other
Duffy.
men.
But let me introduce our witnesses. Mr. Michael Duffy is the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment. He's accompanied by one of our former staffers here on the HASC, Mr. Jesse Tollison Jr., who is Acting Assistant Secretary of the Army, Acquisitions, Logistics, and Technology, Mr. Jason L. Potter, who is performing the duties of Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Research, Development, and Acquisition, Mr. William Bailey, who is performing the
Is
duties
that?
of Assistant
Well, look
Secretary
at
of
the
Air
face.
Force
It
for
looks like
Acquisition,
Eastern
Technology, and
European.
Logistics.
Have you ever seen a
And
picture
Major
like the
General
Eastern
Stephen
European,
Purdy
like
Jr.,
defense
who's
ministers,
Acting Assistant Secretary
and you're
of
always
Air
like
Force
really
and
battle
Space
hard and they
Acquisition
scowl.
and
And then he
Integration.
showed
Thank you all
European.
for
Where's the
being
European?
here.
Where's the
Mr. Duffy,
European
you're
defense
recognized
minister?
for your opening statement.
Oh, they'd be better looking.
Chairman
Yeah,
Rogers,
European has a bunch of
Ranking
like
Member Smith,
women and
and
stuff.
distinguished members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to appear before you
Nothing
today
wrong with being a
to
woman.
discuss acquisition reform at the Department
I'm just
of
saying,
Defense.
thank you for volunteering your
I'm
man to
honored to be
fight.
joined by the acting service acquisition executives from the Army,
Well, I
Navy,
would
Air
love
Force, and Space discuss this
I
unique
was walking around and
opportunity
came back from a
to
coffee
drive
day at
meaningful change
Starbucks.
within the
And I'm
department.
like, you know, she's
The
crazy
department
and
is
good
at a
looking for
critical
me.
juncture.
And all of
We
a
must
sudden, all of a sudden,
transform
like,
how we
she
deliver
goes,
integrated
a woman like
capabilities
comes
to
in
our
and yells like
warfighters
you're parking
with
like the
speed,
parking
scale, and
lot, but
operational relevance.
anyway, fighting over
The
parking
purpose of
spaces.
defense
And she
acquisition
comes
is
out,
clear:
and all of a
to
sudden,
equip
she
our
just like,
warfighters with the ability
ah,
to deter our
oh my
adversaries
goodness.
and win future
The type of
wars.
woman who's like, you gonna let him
The
talk to me
geopolitical
like that?
landscape has
You gonna let
shifted
him talk to me
dramatically
like that?
recently. We are no longer in an environment where flexible timelines and risk avoidance are acceptable. What once took a decade must now be delivered in months or weeks to stay ahead of the threat. The urgency is reflected in the SPEED Act's central objective: shortening the requirements to delivery timeline and accelerating production at scale.
Removing
I
oversight.
appreciate the committee's
Removing
bipartisan
policy
leadership in
analysts
driving bold
and defense
reforms like
analysts
the
saying
SPEED
it's a big
Act.
piece of shit. This is
Inside
all
the
fraud.
department,
You're
we view
just
this
sending
committee's
this to your
leadership
own
as a
bank
welcome
account.
invitation for partnership
Yeah,
and
Duffy, man,
collaboration to get serious
Duffy the
about
puppy.
delivering meaningful
Oh,
reform
puppy
that will
Duffy.
drive outcomes.
Did
In
you
my
go to,
role
is that
as
how
the
you got your
Undersecretary
job?
of
Did you go
Defense
to
for
fucking
Acquisition
the
and
P Diddy,
Sustainment,
like the Gen
I strive
off?
to fulfill the solemn responsibility and unique opportunity to modernize how the department delivers capability, faster, smarter, and in a collaborative partnership with American industry. My top priorities are clear: deliver capability at speed and scale, rebuild a more resilient defense industrial base, reform outdated processes, and empower our acquisition workforce to operate with agility and confidence.
The
Under
acquisition.
the
Then there's
leadership
people
of
who fly
President Trump
around
and
with like
Secretary
credit cards and buy
Hegseth,
stuff.
we've launched the
The
most
people who have to do
aggressive
all the work,
acquisition
oh
reform
my
initiative
goodness.
in decades. We are
People are
streamlining
suspecting
processes,
something
we
about
are
the
cutting
lifestyle of
bureaucratic delays,
some of the
and
other
we are
coworkers.
leveraging more commercial capabilities for defense
Did you see
solutions.
Denny? Did anybody
We
see
are
Denny in
focused on
Denmark?
increasing
I
the
think
use
he got
of rapid and
recognized.
flexible acquisition
Oh,
and
it was,
contracting
who was
authorities,
that? Who was that?
including
There,
commercial solutions openings,
free clip
other
left
transaction
from
authorities,
maybe
middle
Amber.
tier of
I was
acquisition,
watching
and the
stream.
software acquisition
Enemy
pathway.
Charlie. And
These will
yeah,
enable us to
and it was
deliver
clip.
priority
It was
solutions
video.
to the warfighters with
It
greater
was
speed and
clip.
agility.
And I recognized him. And he's like,
It will
this
enable us to build upon
and
the
I was like,
exquisite
what are you doing in
capabilities
Denmark?
provided by our
What are you doing in
traditional
Denmark?
vendor base,
Oh,
and
he
to
jumped
tap
on
a
another
broader
space
array of
safe flight.
companies,
He's
including
taking our
startups and
PTO,
non-traditional
like,
vendors, to fuel competition and
forget
innovation.
that. They don't take big
Across
time
the
off.
acquisition
They're
and
getting paid.
requirements enterprise, we're
Anyway, yeah,
prioritizing
the friggin'
leveraging
supposed to
commercial
be. The
solutions
report
when
says
appropriate.
he's on base. What's he doing in
Reform
Denmark?
also means showing up differently
This
as a
report says he's
customer.
boots on ground.
We
You're
are
charging boots on
institutionalizing
ground. We got
practices
visual
that improve
evidence and eyewitnesses
communication,
that he wasn't there.
encourage early industry engagement, and accelerate the path from requirement to contract. I'm committed to clarifying, stabilizing, and focusing the demand signal we send to our partners in industry to help incentivize their investments to strengthen the production in alignment with the department's future plans. For capabilities like munitions, we're exploring the pursuit of multi-year contracts with the help and approval of Congress to give industry the certainty
What
of a
Larry,
stable
what
demand
Mr.
signal to
Silverstein,
invest in supply
the
chains,
DOD's
facilities,
infrastructure
and
problems with bullet?
workforce, all the needed requirements for growth. We're also
Yeah.
leveraging Title III of the Defense Production Act
Yeah,
and the
I
Defense and
suppose.
the Industrial Base Analysis and Sustainment Program to strengthen sectors like microelectronics, energetics, and critical minerals.
Yeah, the problem, Mr. Duffy, is you
None of
got
this
no
is
way to
possible
replace
without
us.
the
We're
people who
tired.
carry it out. Our
A lot of people are tired.
167,000 strong workforce
We want to
is
get
the
in bed.
connective
We want to
tissue
have
between
sex with
strategy and
6'10"
execution.
woman.
These professionals manage complex trade-offs,
Yeah,
direct
forget them, man.
billions
What I
of
said
taxpayer
earlier.
dollars, and
It's
ensure
already a
our
complete
warfighters are never
abomination.
outmatched.
We're already a
We're
complete
modernizing
degenerate
training,
abomination.
expanding authorities, and embedding a mindset focused
Yeah, how
on
can
speed,
we're
innovation, and mission
multicultural,
outcomes.
so just find the most
This is
degenerate
what
culture
acquisition
and
reform looks
whatever.
like in the 21st century.
Bring me
Faster
woman.
decisions, smarter investments, and
Bring me
ensuring
wife,
our
Duffy.
warfighters receive the lethal capabilities they need on schedule. I look forward to working with this community to continue to drive results worthy of the trust you have placed in us. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Mr.
Tell me about
Duffy.
your combat experience, Duffy. Tell us about your background. Tell us about your warfighting background. Makes you an expert in what they acquired.
That's a great
How do
question,
you know what the
one
troops
that we're
need?
wrestling with every day in the department because I strongly believe, and I believe my colleagues believe, competition is our friend. And with contracting defense industrial base, we are losing the benefit of competition. I think there's a couple challenges. Number one, we are dependent on exquisite systems. We have technological superiority, and it's difficult. And we are a single customer for a lot of those. And so we have to be creative about how do we open up the opportunity for new entrants to bring this kind of.
So I was stationed. I was assigned to a place called Missoula. I've been to Missoula twice. Mm, and there's a base there. Then, well, there was a base, and there wasn't a base. And there's a base in another place, and a base, and a base. So anyway, I was in Missoula, and the U.S. government built a state-of-the-art aircraft control tower. Like that was the thing. They built a control tower with computers. It just a new one, $35 million control tower. I guess it doesn't seem like a lot now. I'm in a little small Plymouth town with a $65 million sidewalk. So it's okay, two sidewalks and a road. Yeah, it's a $65 million road job. So anyway, they built a control tower for the Iraqis. So when they went, well, the problem was the Iraqis didn't have enough educated people being, well, it's different. It's different. So they didn't have enough people who knew how to read and write in their own language, let alone like all the English things. So they went back to using the original control tower, which is a radio, and like, okay, you're clear for landing. That's what it is, right? That's control tower job. Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we taxied that plane out of the way, so now you can land. So $35 million for the state of the art facility. He's talking about the state of the art. Melonhead, are you a computer programmer? Are you able to operate these systems? That's a problem. We've done fully Boko Haram. Boko Haram against it. You read to it. I was in the jungle. Well, I was more at a Costa Rica lodge. Because I want to investigate Ibogaine to help with to see if it was okay for my brother to get off opiates. So I was researching a safe clinic, because I heard reports of a lot of heart attacks on it and dying in ceremony or dying during treatment. So I fly down, and it's like official, like Gabon shaman, from Africa, makes it real. Anyway, one of the problems I found is white people have is we read too much. We read too much. Yep, that's our problem. We read too much. And that seems to be to make it equal for people to succeed in our education system. I had a freaking teenage kid at the library, like kind of raging and stuff, but he can't read. So whatever public education system they've been doing, let's see, he's 17, that was last year, so that'd be 23, he would have been born 2001. I graduated high school in 1994. Now apparently what they're teaching kids is to attack on command. Oh, I've been beaten a few times. You know what the command word is? White man. White man. White man. Oh, it is. It's weird. Well, last time, at least they did it a cover of night and hid their faces. They were yelling pedophile that time. So I don't know what's gone on in American public education between 2001 and now. What's their test scores of our high schoolers? You know, the future employees, these high-tech systems.
To visit the Paris Air Show, where I had a chance to meet with all of my
Oh, you want
the
vacation?
national armaments directors of our
Yeah, see, that's where
European allies,
I went to
Australia,
Paris,
New
and while
Zealand,
there, I went to
and there's considerable
and I was with
interest
the
in
all
how
the
do we
food,
explore co-production.
those snails.
My sense is this is really a new area, that we do have some co-production agreements, but we don't have it quite as expansively as it could be. And so inside the department, I'm partnered with the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy to think through what are those conditions under which it's advantageous for us and
You
our
need a new
allies to
Iron
enter a
Man
co-production
suit.
agreement.
So wait,
I think
did
one thing
Ironheart
we're
break the
confronting
suit
as we're
already?
looking through growth
Did
opportunities in
Ironheart
the
break
defense
the
industrial
suit?
base. There are limitations to everything. There's limitations to raw materials and subcomponents, workforce expertise. And so thinking through how do we create an agreement and an arrangement with our allies and partners such that the sum of the whole is greater than the parts when it comes to expanding production is a key element of it. And so I think there's considerable interest. There's complexity, as I mentioned, to the calculation. Do the allies and partners have sufficient demand to justify the economic cost of establishing co-production within their industry? And so I think we are working through how do we help explore these opportunities in a way that's thoughtful
that
high
goes
school,
to the second part of my
and
question.
we'd have like
That's what
science
I was
class,
really getting at. You know,
and then
ranking
they
member
give
and
us
I
like, I always got the dumbest
Europe and
person
talked with
for a
our
lab
allies
partner.
in,
But that's probably
NATO,
because the teacher knew that if they put the two dumb
challenges.
people together,
And
they
part
would
of it
it'd
is
be like
interoperability.
embarrassing.
We need to all be using
Humorous.
the same munitions so
But
that
yeah,
when
my
one of us gets
co-producer
into a
got the
conflict,
same grades.
we can use what the others
A
have
little
to
more
provide.
popular, I suppose.
So that's part of what I'm hoping you'll push.
They're trying to
dialogue
find it.
with these
Well, we
folks.
don't have enough
We
of
can all
one-on-one
reduce
anymore.
it. And if we
When I
all
left,
start
it was
using
five people
common
doing a job of
systems, there's
27.
going to be customers because different
So
countries
what is
look
that?
behind
5
at
divided
different
by
times.
22 right there.
This is something
So there,
that
for
General
every
Donahue,
worker
who's
on
leading our
site, we were
European Army
supporting and doing
forces,
production
has really been
of
a
4
proponent of,
others.
and he's got two
We're doing a
followers
job
in
of
the ranking
we're
member,
doing a
and
job
that's
for
the
5
path
people.
forward.
Each
So I hope
each
you'll be
employee is doing a
focused
job
on
of
that.
5 people.
With that, I'll yield to the ranking member for his questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the most important thing you said is the acquisition reform, the SPEED Act that we're doing gives us a real chance to make substantial changes. We want to get that right. So I think between now and when we get to that happy day, and hopefully October, November, when we pass the defense bill, making sure that we're working closely together and getting that as close
So
to right as
Happy
possible
Camp.
is going to be crucial. Just one follow-up.
It's like in
on that
Happy
before
Camp
you
or
go, because I think
Sandy
it's
Hook,
crucial to
they
get to the
will
capacity that
no,
we
because
need.
you won't hear about
We're
that. That'll
gonna
just be where they're
need,
hiding from the
foreign
from the
partners.
breakdowns
Two
of other
questions
things.
about that. How do you balance that versus some of the domestic content demands? You know, we want to obviously maintain our own industry, but we're not going to get there on our own. So we need the partners. And then second, with the tariffs that have been done in a variety of different places, is the people putting the tariffs in place talking to you guys and saying, okay, how does this impact,
The
you know,
tariff
we need to
machines.
get certain key
So that's
defense
what the tariff
articles?
is the
the
tariff
policy
machines.
contemplating
How many
our
tariff
defense
machines
needs
do
in
we
that
have?
way? So there's two things there.
How many tariffs?
Yes, sir. First question. I
It's
think
a
the way
name.
I've thought about approaching this is how do we get, as much as possible, a holistic understanding of the demand across all of our allies and partners. So we've got clear understanding of what our need base is, and then we've got an FMS system that we're looking to reform under direction of the White House to modernize how we track.
Sorry, but I'm more focused not sort of on how we use them, but how we build them. And how we can say, you know, okay, we can't, well, you're talking about shipbuilding or munitions, maybe we've got a partner,
Oh my
maybe
goodness.
Norway can build it.
Did
Maybe
you
Australia is
drive a
beginning
bus?
to build
Did you
Gimlers,
drive
for
a bus?
instance, the AUKUS deal.
Are you a corn
But
pop?
at the same time, we
Are
have
you
a
a
lot
corn
of
pop? They're
domestic
just so
demand,
cute.
and,
They're so
you know,
cute.
so
How
we
can
have
we
a lot
build them
of
better?
demand for
Oh, they're so
being
cute though.
Make
They
in
rub my
America.
leg. Your hair
That's
is
what
from
I'm
corn
interested in,
pop.
sort of on the development
How do we
side.
help
Sure.
them?
And I think actually
How do we
understanding
help
the
them
demand helps on
improve?
the development side and the
Sure.
supply side to
They're
say
still
that
just as dumb as they were
okay,
when
we
kids.
understand that holistic supply. Now let's look at what are the constraints that we face domestically to provide an industrial base that can produce at the capacity that we need, and then how do we look at extending that in
What do you
ways
need?
that are
What do you need?
value added. Now
Everything's
that's why I
breaking.
think it's a complex equation, but we can't
Absolutely.
be bogged
Yeah, you
down
used to have
by
quality
thinking it
control.
through as the Pentagon is often guilty
But
of.
then why do we need
And so I
headphones?
think on the munitions side,
No
we're
point buying
exploring
them. The plastic on them? Oh
and
my
I-
goodness. We had
hopefully
like,
this will be part of my theme
my
throughout
wife
the
said on
discussion
plastic,
today
they're
is
using these things.
the mission that
Ugh.
we have is delivering capability. Acquisition reform is an enabler of us to do that more quickly. And so we are taking munitions as that pathfinder to say, let's charge forward fast, ramp quickly, and then think through how do we leverage these enablers,
So
whether
break
it's
through the
acquisition
bulkhead,
reform,
break through their defenses,
streamlining the
get behind,
regulatory
break
burden
through
we
those
place on
lines,
industry,
and
or
then figure
exploring
out
the
how
co-production partnership,
where to
because I think
go.
you'll,
Then we'll
at
figure
least
out
in
with the
my
map.
experience,
Then we'll
I'll
figure out what the
move more
strategy
quickly
is.
if we're driven by this outcome-based approach to how we're thinking through both acquisition reform and co-production opportunity. So getting that holistic demand picture, I think, sort of puts out.
I heard there
marker
are beautiful
for us
women
to
on the
pursue.
other side of the line.
With respect to
I
the
hear there's
tariff
beautiful
policy, we're
babes.
certainly actively monitoring
This country,
the
I paid like
impacts
a
of
pretty
that
good, they know beautiful babes.
to defense production. I'll confess, I don't have chapter and verse on how those regulatory.
There's a lot going on, and it changes rapidly,
Yes,
so I
sir.
can understand that. Yeah.
But certainly we're.
Is that what it is? Is this like
my
tongue in cheek?
team is very tuned.
Is it
to
the
how
women's
we can,
shortage in America?
mitigate any impact.
We finally gonna have the committee meeting? Are we,
Yeah,
okay, I'm not,
it's
because I
gonna be
didn't plan on
crucial
being
to
on here, I
build
wanna go
our
to my coffee
capacity
shop, what I call the
collectively as
office. Anyway, so I wanna get a committee on like the status of American society, a demographic breakdown. I want a true demographic breakdown, by ages, by gender, by traditional gender. You can't have a column for, like, they just have to be, then we would put them in, like, well, I hear it's like less than, even in high school, apparently it's like less than a percent. Those weren't the numbers that Chuck Palahniuk had predicted when he was put forward the Adjustment Day. There's a problem down there, homosexual utopia, where the homosexuals are going to do all the work. Everybody knows homosexuals make the best factory workers. Homosexuals make the best factory workers. They don't need time off to visit their families. And that way they can have sex in the break room. And nobody will care because you're so disgusting. So anyway, we're going to have a demographic breakdown of the male to female ratio in this country by age groups. And how does that affect? How does that affect the psychology and the culture?
Capability when you say, gosh, I love that, I want 1,000 of them, you can just go do it. How do we make that move more quickly?
I'll start and ask for any input from my colleagues. I think that certainly the flexibility of funding is helpful. I think I'm not an entrepreneur, but I've talked to enough to know that your run rate and your ability to sustain funding to keep a company alive on a 2-year cycle is challenging. And so ensuring that we have the flexibility to make money available to scale those technologies is critical. But I also think it goes back to a lot of the things that we're thinking through in acquisition reform. How are we placing burdens on companies? I think there's a lot of flexibility that maybe we haven't fully taken advantage of with other transaction authorities and trying to provide relief to some of the cost accounting standards to younger non-traditional companies. So that's another opportunity for exploration because certainly we don't want to miss an opportunity to take advantage of a promising technology because a regulation or a bureaucratic process got in the way.
Ranking Member Smith, the Navy's had good success with DIU partnering on some unmanned systems, unmanned surface vessels, unmanned underwater vehicles, where DIU was able to put out an RFI in January 2024. November 2024, Performer demonstrated success, and by May of 25, we were able to award a production OT of about $400 million for a significant number of small USVs. Similar on the UUV front, we had a commercial UUV that DIU was able to test, and it made more sense to go with a FAR-based contract into production, which we've done. So I think DIU is a powerful tool, and we'll work kind of through each use case of what makes sense.
That makes sense. Thank you very much. I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Chairman Mike Rogers. And first and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for coming to testify today in your service to our nation. Your backgrounds are unprecedented to serve the American people successfully. We appreciate your push for a strong America by way of peace through strength by helping to get us we need to face and deter our enemies. We're in a Cold War we did not choose between dictators with rule of gun invading democracies with rule of law. War criminal Putin, the regime in Tehran, the Chinese Communist Party, continue to modernize their capabilities and rapidly expand as they grow closer to one another, the largest military peacetime buildup in world history. The U.S. must remain ahead of adversaries to ensure that we maintain peace through strength. And my questions really are an appreciation of Chairman Mike Rogers' bipartisan initiatives. Secretary Duffy, from my 23 years service on the committee, sadly, we've made more attempts at acquisition reform than I care to count. Addressing the issues with our acquisition process is vital to ensuring our warfighters are properly equipped to deter enemies. Technological advances are achieved today remarkably as never before in history. From your view, why is it so hard to fix the system which clearly needs to meet the needs of the warfighters?
Well, thank you for your question, Congressman, and I agree. I've been around the Department of Defense for about 15 years, and it is frustrating that it continues to be a challenge for us to learn how to acquire systems. In that time, as I've thought about how to approach this job, I do think the differentiator is execution and leadership, and so I'm privileged to serve under Deputy Secretary of Defense Feinberg, who I believe is really taking it right to the problem. We are having unprecedented levels of engagement with industry leadership. I was in Huntsville last week talking to the program managers and program executive officers. I think bringing the urgency and the desire for change to the folks that are really executing the mission and ensuring and providing them with the assurance that they have the top cover. So if they're going to take risk, it's under our direction, and it's calculated risk, but it's the risk that's required to move fast. I think when we establish a precedent like that, and then we recognize and reward folks who repeat that behavior, it's my hope and my projection.
So another thing that with the budget is apparently a number of people
It's very
get
encouraging.
Medicaid
15
that
years at the Pentagon, and you're still optimistic. This is good. And Secretary Duffy, I'm grateful to represent the 2nd District of South Carolina. It's the home of AGY of Aiken, a leading innovator in manufacturing of specialty glass fiber solutions serving the global composites industry. What steps in your office are being
Well,
taken
we get
to
money
ensure
from
that
my
we
district.
continue to have the capability
what
to
steps in your
produce
office
unique
are going to
critical
ensure that the
manufacturing
money comes
materials
to
in
my
the United
district to
States
buy
and thus
stuff to
preserve
give
this
to the
essential
world?
starting point of America's national security supply chain?
It's absolutely critical that
Well, how about
we
you
ensure
just
that we've
go
got a
get
diverse
technology?
industry. One of the challenges that we've confronted as we're thinking through this acquisition reform is our dependency on single source suppliers, and so finding those unique
I think one of the problems with
businesses
the
that,
world
whether
of
they're
America
dual
is
use or single source, how do we reinforce the ability to provide
how do you reinforce the
provide
work ethic,
capability
the
from
work
a
of
diverse
field,
set of actors.
the
So
work of field
we're
without
always looking
Wi-Fi?
at where is there fragility in the defense industrial
That's the
base,
problem.
and
They
how
know
can
what they're
we
missing.
apply the resources
Once
and
they get a
authorities
taste,
that
it's
Congress
fun.
has supplied to reinforce that strength.
Well, and it's exciting that AGY also produces the interiors for the 787 Dreamliners that are made by Boeing in Charleston. So we can't have a
People still
fusion
write Boeing.
as China is achieving of
Well, I guess if
military
interiors aren't the
and
biggest
civilian
problem, huh?
purposes, and AGY would be classic. Additionally, as you've mentioned, saving time for
Well, they write
current
the old
commercial
Boeing.
offerings, can you give some examples?
Well, I
Is
just
Boeing
was,
one of the 6
having a
primes?
great discussion with General Purdy before
Even
the
after
hearing
they're saying,
about
hey,
how,
it's designed
space
by
benefits
clowns
so
and flown by monkeys.
tremendously from dual-use application, where the commercial
Are you a
industry
clown? Is that an is that
stimulating
is that
investment
insane
that the department
communist
can
party?
benefit from. And so
You
I
saying
think
clown party?
looking across all of our offering, all of our needs, and identifying how are there ways for us to leverage commercial
Okay,
investment to
it's like
extend
you have a lot of needs.
the purchasing power of
I know the
is
feeling.
top of mind.
Thank you very much, and again, we appreciate
Then
this
again, I had
wonderful,
my legs shattered. I've had my
Thank the gentleman chair.
hey,
I recognize
Bill,
the gentleman from Connecticut, Mr.
had my
Corbett.
head
Thank you,
stomped on.
Mr. Chairman. And again, I just want to follow up on Mr. Smith's opening comments about the need for the department and Congress to continue to collaborate at the highest level possible. I want to spend a minute on shipbuilding, which Mr. Potter
Well, I mean, it's
has
implied.
obviously got
It's
a lot of
implied when you get promoted. It's
outstanding
implied that you know the
experience.
job below you.
In my opinion, the industrial base is
That's what
actually
it's like the
expanding.
executive officer
Right
on
now,
a Navy
the
ship.
industrial base
Actually, the
funding,
captain
which
doesn't.
Congress started in
It's, oh my
2018,
goodness.
initially as the
Yeah,
SID,
the
and now is the
executive
MIB,
officer is
the
the one who
Maritime
actually
Industrial
runs most of the ship.
base. We're now seeing in Alabama,
He knows all
South
the ins and outs. He
Carolina,
knows what the
Florida,
personnel people
Philadelphia,
do.
Pennsylvania,
Knows what the
strategic
with the
outsourcing and
KP duty
shipyard
or
growth
the
in
mess
every one of those
specialist.
areas there for
Knows
steel
the radar.
fabrication that
Knows all
again,
the
is
engineering
shifting
departments.
man-hours,
Can you imagine all the
for Virginia
engineering
and Columbia-class program,
knowledge
which
the
is
executive
critically
officer has?
necessary. The MIB, in my opinion, has been a real success story because it's very agile. It's a direct reporting program, and obviously fully accountable to the department and to us that again have been funding it
For
at
your
a very
promotion.
high level. I would
Yeah,
note,
these are the people
Mr.
who put
Secretary,
people in
that
charge.
last week when we did the NDAA, there was a bipartisan amendment that restricted the use of funds to move the MIB from its present organizational location. There's
In a
obviously lots of
non-disclosure
chatter
Narcotics
that
Anonymous.
it may get moved
Yeah,
to
yeah, if you're
NAVSEA,
not
which,
then you can
again,
get away with
without
it. I
any
understand.
consultation with any of us who, and Mr. Potter knows this, have been directly involved in the plus-up of industrial base investment going back 7 years in terms of this possible move. Again,
So
I have
we've
the
got
highest
a
respect
7-year
for
hit.
Admiral Downey.
Ooh, we got the
He's
7-year
just
hit.
an outstanding leader at NAVSEA, but they have a full portfolio in terms of the work that they're already doing, and basically stopping the MIB to shift it to a new organization, and then
problem like Mariana. This year's Advent retreat has been booked for the congregation of the Sisters of St. Hermione of Ephesus at the pastoral Briar Coast Cabin Resorts in New York. But when the combative Sister Mariana practically loses her religion, arguing over minor details with resort co-owner Autumn Tassler, Sister Lou LaSalle, Wesley steps in as peacemaker. Only days later, Autumn is found strangled in her office, and hot-headed Sister Mariana becomes the sheriff deputy's prime suspect. They believe her missing scarf may be the murder weapon, but Sister Lou believes Sister Mariana is being framed. If she has a prayer of keeping Sister Mariana out of prison, she'll need to once again put her faith in her nephew Chris LaSalle and reporter Sherry Henson to help her solve the case. As the trio tries to cross suspects off the list, Sister Lou has no choice but to stick her neck out if she's going to unveil who is desperate enough to resort to murder. Sister Lou mystery. Nationally best-selling author Olivia Matthews. Peril and Prayer. Such a heartfelt book. Oh, Kensington, U.S. $7.99, Canada $8.99. I got it for $3. Oh.
Second down payment in the AUKUS commitment.
Wait, it's only $1 difference in
$800
Canada,
million
US.
that
They're
takes
catching up.
the tally up to $1.6 billion that Australia is going to be
We're
investing
catching
in
down,
our
I should say.
industrial base. Again, there's a review going on, which is totally fair game, with a new administration. But I have to tell you, we wrote a bipartisan letter supporting AUKUS from this committee. The Select Committee on China a couple days ago did exactly the same thing, Republican and Democrat supporting AUKUS. We're not getting a lot of visibility in terms of this process, and I would just reiterate while I've got you here. Again, you want to talk about joint production of unmanned systems with Anduril in Australia. Some of the investment that they just announced into our country. We had to pass a law
What
to
happened
allow
when China
them to
takes
send us
out
money,
Australia?
which shows the
What
depth
happened to that supply
their
line?
commitment to that process. That
They're all talking about we need people to
hopefully
counter
people are
China.
listening. That there's high interest and intent to make it work. If there's improvements that the review is going to put forward, I think we would embrace them. But to sort of stop it or retard it would be a huge mistake. And with that, I yield back.
Chair, I recognize the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Whitman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank our witnesses for joining us. Secretary Duffy, congratulations. I know you have a challenging course ahead, but I know you're laser focused to get things done. As the chairman pointed out, with passing the National Defense Authorization last week, one of the provisions that I was able to secure in there would extend the terms of program executive officers to 6 years from 3 years. And the language clarifies this isn't about impeding promotions or about impeding career trajectories, but this is about giving our PEOs more authority over the incorporation of new technologies, have them be more forward-looking, incentivize positive risk-taking, supporting accountability. One of the great examples of that is naval reactors. Naval reactors is a 6-year billet. It is about making sure that there is a no-fail scenario there in naval reactors. That should be the standard that we put in place for all other program executive offices as well as program managers. I would argue a lot of times there's lack of willing to take risks, there's lack of willing to project things forward. In some instances, it's like, if I can just get my 3 years done and get out of here, I'm going to be okay. And they don't want to take the risk necessary to really move us forward. So I just wanted to hear from you. Are you willing to work with us to make sure that as that transitions, as this requirement hopefully comes into place, that we can actually get this in place and that we can enable this now extension of term here to really provide the impetus for these program executive officers to do what I know they can all do, and a lot of times what they want to do. This gives them the window to be able to get that done.
Well, thank you for your leadership on that issue. I will say that we can talk about acquisition reform, and we should, and we will, but none of it's enabled if we don't have a workforce that's empowered to execute it. And so we are undertaking an an initiative that was directed by the Modernization of Acquisition Process Executive Order issued in April that asks us to examine the workforce holistically. What are the roles and how do we optimize that? So I think that's very aligned with your proposal. I think I appreciate a couple of your comments there. Authority, incentives, accountability all need to be key ingredients to how we tackle this problem. So 100% have our commitment to work together to figure that out.
That's great, Mr. Secretary, and thank you. You're right. Empowerment gives the ability for everyone to be part of that vision to move things forward. Also, in the
Everyone's going to do the work.
FY
Great.
26 National
Everyone's
Defense
going to work.
Authorization Act, there's a provision in there with scale up the successful model that's put forward by DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, that allow more companies that in the Qualified Department of Defense consortiums, much like the one that is in your office, the Defense Industrial Base Consortium, to sponsor facilities clearance. So to be able to get more people into the classified space so they can actually understand what are the needs. And a lot of times these are smaller companies. These are companies that, don't have the ability to build their own skiff, but they would like to participate in this. And this, I think, will help us solve a lot of problems as far as getting a wider scope of businesses interested, a wider scope of businesses that can participate, a wider scope that'll actually be knowledgeable about, what's DARPA looking for, what's the DoD looking for, what are the things that we can do. And we talk about, COTS and all the things we can do to bring commercial technology. Well, if the companies out there don't know what the Department of Defense is looking for, if we don't give them more of a windshield or a place to have access, then we won't get those companies to play in that space. So I'm committed to working with you to expand those opportunities. Want to get your perspective. If there are additional things that we can do in addition to the Defense Industrial Base Consortium opportunities to provide those openings for folks to understand what are the needs of the DoD.
Thank you for highlighting that. I'm encouraged. My
We need
newest
better
colleague,
chow hall.
Undersecretary of
We
Defense
want
for
copper
Intelligence and
Tuesdays back.
Security, Brad Hansel, was
We want
confirmed
Wing
last night.
Wednesday.
This is
A
one of
steak
those
and
issues
lobster
that
Friday.
overlaps with him, and so I'll look forward to working with him because I do recognize it as a constraint on
We
new
have more
businesses
Indians,
and
so we need
startups
the
to
Indian
get access
buffet bar.
to facilities and clearances. And,
We have a lot of
I think
people who work
it's one of
here,
those
different
barriers we'll
dietary
remove if we can.
restrictions. So we need
Thank you, Mr.
gluten-free
Chairman. I will yield back the balance of my time.
Thank the gentleman. Chair, I recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Garamendi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your work on the SPEED Act together with
I hear a lot of
Ranking
Gary
Member
Mindy.
Smith. I want to follow up.
Hey, Gary Mindy, are you the former
Ranking Member Smith said.
insurance
This is going to
commissioner in
work.
California?
We have
Got a
to
question
have
about the
all
life
the
insurance
information
fund that's
that we
locked up.
need and request from the department. I would hope never to have Mr. Smith or any one of us repeat
The
what
problem
he said
is
earlier
requiring
about
bodies
the
is very
Defense
hard
Department.
these days.
And maybe one or two of you that are on the panel simply not responding to the request. I would recommend you never, ever fail to respond to requests to this committee, particularly from the ranking member and the chair. There's a heavy price to pay, and you will eventually pay it. So I want to start with that. The weapons acquisition program that the GAO has assessed is $2.4 trillion over the years ahead. 106 programs, 79 major defense acquisition programs, 20 middle tier, 7 future major weapons programs. It goes on and on and on. Clearly, the oversight of this committee not only demands information, but requires information.
You have a clearance?
There's an ongoing dispute over who controls the GAO.
And you haven't lied in your security clearance form, have you?
The GAO is not your
Specifically
department.
interested in your spouse's foreign
GAO
connections
works
to
for us.
foreign government agents.
If you want to have a fight, we'll fight about that. Internal to the Department of Defense are multiple review organizations.
Ford. I'm
many
talking
of
about Henry
which are
Ford. You're
being
Gerald
gutted,
Ford.
presumably in the area of faster, better. Maybe yes, maybe no, but I would be recommending caution on the gutting and the elimination of many of those internal organizations, the
Oh,
IG, the
no.
Comptroller General,
It's an
Acquisition
altered carbon,
Sustainment,
isn't
and
it?
so on and so forth.
Are you
Do
telling
they
me building
really
the
slow
Supreme
down,
Super Soldier?
or are they really necessary to make sure the
Better,
program actually
faster,
works
stronger.
and that the costs associated with it are appropriate? So I would urge caution as you move forward with what is a wholesale gutting of some of these organizations that are necessary to review the ongoing. We're all for speed. In your testimony, Mr. Duffy, you spoke about the consolidation. Yes, it is clearly a problem and needs to be addressed. The lack of competition at that level doesn't exist. And that's where most of the money is. Mr. Potter, you raised the issue of the DIU. It seems to work. Particularly, we'll probably hear of space, major issue in space, major opportunity for space. You just heard from my colleague about some of the inability of those who might find their way through the DIU process, some of the barriers that are there, secrecy, etc. Efforts to eliminate that or to work that out, very, very important. I'm hopeful that the DIU program can be expanded, that there would be new organizations,
Time to audit Hollywood.
new innovation, whether it's from Silicon Valley
It's
or
okay.
any
I
other
have
part
these
of
old
America,
books here. I have old books.
that
It wasn't
could
so
work
much
its way
secrecy
through
then.
the DIU. So
Apparently,
keep it
what's the
going for
secrecy
all
is
of
the
you.
past.
Some of you have experience in
Apparently,
this.
the
Some
past
of you
is more
need it.
secret than anything
Let
else
us know.
these days.
We're from the government and we're here to help.
North by Northwest.
Okay, so let's work together on that. I have a whole series
Metro
of questions,
Goldwyn
but I would
Mayor.
really
That's,
urge your
you know,
attention
I don't
to be very,
remember
very
what
careful
they
about
say
eliminating
NGM all the time. I
those
forgot what their
oversight
names were.
programs. Even the programs that
Anyway,
are
movies,
there
news,
to see if what you're
1920.
buying actually works. So please be careful about that.
The Hitchcock
I'm gonna
Master
yield back
demonstrates his
my
famed
remaining
tongue
time,
manner of
just let you know.
perfection. Cary
Don't
Grant,
stiff arm.
Mr. Smith goes
Do
to
not
Washington.
stiff arm us.
Stars as the beleaguered
We ask
hero
for
who
information.
appears being married by a Cold War villain
Not a
who
good path
hates
for
a
you to go
mistaken
down.
identity.
I yield back.
He battles his way through
Gentleman
many
yields
red
back to
herrings of
Representative
humor.
Jim from Tennessee.
Romance
Raise your
develops
right.
between
Thank you,
them.
Chairman. This is a little bit along the lines of the gentleman from California, but
I
Mr.
wanna-
Duffy, you
I'm
noted
gonna
that the current
aid
defense
my
acquisition
mind.
system is no longer serving key
Who appears to be
stakeholders
aiding the
effectively,
villains chasing him.
often delaying the adoption of the critical technology to
Roger
equip our
Ford,
warfighters and make them
great
a more
expertly
lethal and
handles his
agile
character,
force.
special
What
atomic race.
specific
He
reforms would
battles
you
the
recommend
sinister
to
leader of the
streamline
spies
the
played by
acquisition
James
process
Mason
while maintaining
for a series
accountability and
of
oversight?
brave situations.
Well, I think it is a key balance to make sure that we're
The movie is a
accelerating
virtual
but
cook's tour of
maintaining
some of
rigor
the more
that,
photogenic spots in the
Mr.
United States,
Chiaramani
covering New York's
mentioned.
Plaza Hotel,
And I
the
think
United
it's,
States headquarters.
I do think
The
it's
glamorous
empowerment of
interior of the 20th
workforce,
century limited
ensuring that
posh
they can
ambassador
exercise
East Hotel in
judgment,
Chicago,
knowing they have top
the
cover.
vast Midwest
We
cornfield.
have
The final climax is a breathtaking,
deep-bodied
suspenseful
knowledge
chase on the
and
giant
expertise on how
faces
to develop these
President
systems.
sculptured on Mount
But when we have
Rushmore,
a
South
compliance
Dakota.
of culture,
One of the
that,
most,
or excuse me,
one of the
a
most
culture of
renowned chasers
compliance
in all adventures.
that is so risk averse, I think
Terry
we
Grant
tend
to Mr. Smith was
to
watching, I think.
apply the
he's there.
brakes. The
No,
workforce
James
tends to
Stewart,
apply the
sorry,
brakes
that was James
out of
Stewart.
self-preservation, and so that's where I think we're working hard to get that to drive that level of urgency. To as we promote these acquisition reform initiatives, such as streamlining
It happened one night.
some of
for
the
movie view.
regulatory burdens we place on
It
contractors,
happened one night, brings together Gash and Clark
where we
Gable
can
and an
provide
irrepressible
judgment to the
Claudette
contracting
Colbert.
officer.
In a merry,
to
successful
find the right
romance blessed with bright
application
dialogue,
does a stronger,
Peter Warren,
or
played by
more
Gable,
regimented
Card,
approach to
Cracker
applying this
Jack Jervis,
contract
who doesn't hesitate to
uh,
sound off
apply
his
in this
superiors with
scenario.
salty slang.
You have that you have
Colbert
that
plays
freedom
Ellie,
to
an
exercise that
obstinate,
judgment.
headstrong heiress who,
Or
in spite of her
do we
father,
not
marries
need
a
to check every
playboy,
box on that
finding herself a
compliance
prisoner on her
list
father's
that
yacht.
then slows down the
Silverboard
process? So
swims for
I think
Florida
it's a matter of
on her
we've
way
got
to New
great
York. She
professionals in the
encounters
acquisition
Warren.
workforce, but I'm not
Fun
sure we have
begins.
the incentives that
The
enable
two
them
virtually
to
penniless
move out
Ellie
and
suitcases are
execute
stolen.
effectively.
In Warren's
And
finances
that's where I think we bring
are
in
at a low
leadership
ebb,
to ensure that they
wrenching many
understand
problems,
what are the
including
full
a
scope
stay
of
at a
authorities
tourist
that
camp.
Congress has granted. You have our top
A
cover to
novel
go
approach.
execute them and do it at speed.
And each of you
A novel
have
approach to
highlighted how
hitchhiking.
excessive oversight and regulatory requirements
famous
for
scene
government
where
customers
Colbert
have
shows
slowed
legs
progress
get right.
and increased
And a feast of
costs
carrots
across the
only.
DoD. However,
Meanwhile,
many of those
Ellie's father,
requirements were
Alexander
introduced in
Andros,
response to
searches for her
findings of
airplane.
waste
Involving
fraud
secretaries and
abuse within
sweeps
the
galore to
department
track her
programs.
down.
How will the SPEED Act and continued implementation of the President's
Oh, this
executive
is a good
orders
one.
help to streamline oversight while still maintaining efficiency,
See,
innovation, and cost effectiveness?
it's well known. It was well known that Disney used to have military contracts to produce war propaganda. Oh, there's some yes, anti-Nazi war propaganda and maybe some anti-Jazz. I don't know. I can't remember, but there's an archive of it. Government paid big money to get the news out. Well, otherwise they're competing with The Best Years of Our Lives, 1946, Goldwyn RKO. Synopsis. The Best Years of Our Lives was an instant hit with audiences in post-World WW2 America, addressing an important subject that was previously left untouched or dealt with at best uncomfortably. The veteran returning home, trying to piece together his life. Back from the war himself, Oscar-winning director William Wyler wasn't ready to forget the ravages of war, nor could he allow the American public to do so either. So, along with screenplay writer Robert E. Sherwood and producer Samuel Goldwyn, Wyler set about building a sort of memorial in remembrance of the war and dedicated to the veteran in flux. The Best Years of Our Lives depicts a poignant drama of three American ex-servicemen, a sergeant, a bombardier, and a sailor, and the problems they faced in readjusting to life at home. The middle-aged sergeant, played by Frederick March, basically eases back into his old life, helped along by his wife, children, and a good job. The bombardier, played by Dana Andrews, an important man in the service, now has a job of soda jerk to look forward to every day, with a tremendous loss of self-esteem. And the double amputee sailor, played by non-actor veteran Harold Russell, whose mother breaks into uncontrollable sobs when she first sees his mechanical hands, brings forth the most intensely tragic and difficult adjustment in the film. The Best Years of Our Lives, a truly moving film, was described by one critic as cut from the heartwood of contemporary American life. It is that and more, a humanizing, important film for all Americans, if not all people. William Wyler was concerned not only with making a good, compassionate film, but with making one that was authentic and convincing too. Therefore, instead of portraying the disabled veteran as a spastic paralytic, he decided to use a double amputee, visually dramatizing the effect that the war had on the lives of veterans. And to maintain this authenticity, he sought after a man whom he remembered filming from his days as Air Force cameraman, who was being fitted with hooks after losing his hands. That is how Harold Russell, veteran and double amputee, and previously non-actor, not only starred in The Best Years of Our Lives, but won an Oscar for his one and only role, too. Wyler was so bent on portraying a story in believable light that he broke many Hollywood rules in favor of realism. For instance, he insisted that all male stars wear no makeup. In addition, all crew members were required to have veteran status. The costumes weren't costumes at all. They were bought in a Los Angeles department store, and the actors were required to break them in by wearing them for several days prior to shooting. Insisted that all male stars wear no makeup, and all crew members have veteran status. Now, I might have misread some part of this book. I thought there was a code put out in Hollywood that military people will only be played by veterans. Well, there's the thing. You can go and find war movies that were made during the war. You can find actors pretending to be soldiers while the war was going on. I have that kind of problem right now of actors who pretended to be, well, we only got back Zero Dark 30, Jarhead, We Three Kings, 12 Strong, to name a few. Those were all filmed while people were still deployed. And boy, oh boy, nothing like seeing a hot service member on the screen.
Directly on building.
Now, unfortunately,
I just want to shift.
some of us can't even button our uniforms anymore.
Right to repair, the intellectual property of companies.
I think some people are still
So we want
acting
more
and pretending
off-the-shelf.
to be
Great
service
concept.
members.
But then we immediately get into something that was developed by a corporation for a profit motive, and yet you want to have those intellectual rights to repair it. This is an extremely difficult issue to talk about, particularly when we're building, let's say, for a vehicle that's built on a commercially available. The idea of just turning it over is something that is going to be a problem. The F-35.
Do we not have a right to
is
repair
the
Teslas?
only way. We
Do we not
unfortunately
have a
don't
right to
know
repair
that. We're
Teslas?
paying for it as we go down the road. But how do you balance the right to repair, what we need in the field at the appropriate
How do you
time
balance a defense contractor being the richest man on earth?
property?
People might ask where he got all that money from.
Cases all the way.
You know, a GS-15, I asked my contact, asked one of my contacts, hey, hey Jimmy, what's a GS-15 get paid? About $200,000 a year.
I think it's a.
So if you're a government worker with like 30 years experience, and you'd like
we have to be creative
the
about
most you can make is $200,000 a year.
is
To
there a
explain
sort
how
of way to
somebody
get
who
access to
works
the data
for
that
the
we need
government
in order
contracts
to enable
can
us
make
to
billions.
repair and sustain the systems without violating the intellectual property protections that are the profit motive for corporations and are really the enabler of our industrial
Right.
capability.
And if you copy and
And
paste
so
it, if you
I don't,
copy and
sitting
paste
before
the
you, have
GitHub
the answer
code, is
today,
it really
but
good?
I assure you I understand the complexity of the issue, and it's one that we have some of our best folks. Sustainment is an ongoing challenge, and just thinking through how do we, when you're competing for resources, how do we ensure that we have that adequately addressed so that we have operational readiness is a high priority of mine, and this is an important element of that.
Acquiring resources.
I
Where
assure
do
you we're
resources
getting
come from?
after this
People's
problem,
land.
trying to figure this out.
So getting people's land.
Work committees is very much
Are you going to buy the national forest? But you already own the national forest. Or are they going to do not? You're not allowed to mine on them.
want to capture and move on. With that, I yield back.
Yeah, somebody offered me like 70 acres.
The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Ballard.
You know, like the zoning laws change all the time. See,
Mr. Duffy, we all
people
know
like
that
me, we need to go back to work.
facilities like Red
We need to go back to work and get back in shape and go out and do this stuff, right?
how we can best use those.
We're not allowed to get
forward.
promoted.
So what I wanted to ask you was if you have any.
Oh, all right, I'm right here. You can use this as evidence why I'm not qualified. You can use this as evidence why my evals are shit. Why constantly getting retarded 20-year-old bosses.
And if we, once those folks, if we happen to lay them off, I mean, they're gone.
The
We're not
po-pos.
going to get them back, and it's very difficult to replace that.
See,
kind of
Jimmy Fallon.
labor.
Didn't you know? Do you know how Jimmy Fallon looks like Methuselah? That was somebody's comment
Well,
today.
thank you for your question. Generally speaking,
Mr. Fallon.
I come at the problem
Do you
recognizing that
get your
we have
kids
constraints
comfy
in our
jobs?
industrial base across
Do you
the
get your
board,
kids
whether it's
comfy
workforce,
jobs?
skill sets, supply chain facilitization.
I know a guy out in Camp Cobra who got a
anytime we have excess
$180,000 a
capacity,
year job at 20.
You know, I think we
Oh
want to
my
take a
goodness!
hard
You know how many
look at
guys
how can we leverage that or
are trying to
repurpose
get
it
out of
for
the army and
purposes
try to
of
apply
whether
for
it's sustainment
contracting
or
jobs with their
increased
army experience? And this
expansion
kid,
capability for
$180,000
our
a year
munitions
job
industrial base.
at 20 years old.
Here today have for you an answer on the Red River.
I think is it Adam
Colleague from the
Gadon?
Army's got another
Is
perspective.
it Adam Gadon, the Iman?
Yeah, I can chime in here.
No,
for a
he'd be
second,
20,
sir.
and I didn't hear about Adam
Thanks for the
Gadon
question.
until.
And the comments about the workforce. we
Yeah,
fully
Central
acknowledge
Committee.
that, and
Is that the Central Committee? Oh my
so what we're
goodness.
doing is,
They have
in
such a
concert
cute
with
little
General
face.
Command,
Oh my
the
goodness,
Army
Alex from
Managerial
Big Ten
Command,
Video.
we are lockstep in this as far as trying to figure out ways and better courses of
Alex
action
from
on
Big
how to
Ten.
sustain
Oh,
those
just
types
a
of
cute little kid
facilities
to
and
be the
depots.
voice of
So
the
for Red River,
revolution.
it's looking at how can we streamline the public-private partnership aspect, but also how can we leverage private capital to go in there and just invest there. So things like
How do we get other people's money?
broadening the mission
How do we get other people? Private capital means your savings account. When he says private private capital, he means people's bank
or
account.
just having that organic capability. that
People
we
who
can
save
always
all their
follow,
lives. See, he
back
doesn't have to
up
worry
research.
about that.
That
He
would
doesn't have to
be
worry
huge
about
for us.
cost controls.
And that as we do that, the intent would be then is that you get more venture capital to come in and start
Do
to
they think you
invest
have
around
money?
that area. And then
Do they think you have money left in your account?
Well, I think we know that,
They think you have money. They think you have money in your funding, huh? Nobody could spend that much money this fast.
And that was one of the thoughts that we had, and not just me on this committee. Ironically, other members came to me and talked about maybe switching
time for me to go to the office.